whole life is about applause, really. I want applause. I want people to like me. I want people to like what I do. In fact, everything since the newspaper work, which we used to get the occasional letter from. I suppose even when I got a letter saying, "Poor you, you have to live with yourself. I'm disgusted with your drawings," and that sort of thing. It was some reaction. I had got a reaction from someone, and my life now has become getting a reaction, perhaps in some way. I want to, after I'd made my drawings, and I started making sculptures and putting them into exhibitions, so that when people moved around the exhibition, I could get a feedback from them. I could see them reacting. Then I put my drawings on the stage and on film, all really to get applause. It's deep down inside me. I'm trying to get applause. I want approval, really. I think I've changed. I think that I'm now able to accommodate other styles of work. For instance, when I did the opera, I tried to make it fun. I didn't try to give it bite and grotesque nastiness. I just tried to make it fun. Within the Sunday Times, I am still trying to have bite, and there's been a very unhappy situation at the Sunday Times for some time now. I know that when Rupert Murdoch took over the Sunday Times, he looked at a drawing I'd made of Ronald Reagan going into San Salvador, out of Vietnam into San Salvador, drawing a parallel between the two situations. He looked at that drawing and said, "Poor old Ronnie, we've got to get rid of this pinko artist."
The important point is that it should be a good cartoon, not that it fits in with any political line. I mean, we have an editorial line in the paper, which I said, but we have Peter Jenkins writes his own column and says many things that I disagree with, but I'm delighted about that. It's another opinion.
You think it's a healthy sign?
Brian Walden does the same thing. Brian writes a column which I sometimes agree with, sometimes I don't. That's not the point. I mean, the view of the paper is expressed in the editorial policy. Other opinions are expressed in the various columns and opinion pieces that we carry, and the cartoon fits into that.
Yes, I mean, I sometimes feel it's uncomfortable because you have the leader which says one thing, and right next to it you have my cartoon which says perhaps the opposite.
Well, I think it would be uncomfortable if every week there was a permanent minority opinion expressed in the cartoon. But that's one matter. That's a different matter from the cartoon not necessarily having to follow the editorial line.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
Right.
And sometimes I say to you, I don't agree with the political point you're making, but it's a very good cartoon. In fact, that happened only a couple of weeks ago.
The Tebbit cartoon, yes.
Yes, the Tebbit one, because I thought you had given the impression that Tebbit was trying to censor the BBC in the cartoon. And I said, I don't agree with the point you're making, but it's a good cartoon. I think it's very funny the way you've got the BBC as the little dog and Tebbit as his master's voice coming out of the megaphone. And so we ran it.
I could be a thorn in the flesh, that's all I mean. And
yeah,
I am.
But almost everybody's a thorn in the flesh in this job. And you get used to that.
I still do the political work at the Sunday Times because I still hope to have some effect on politicians, although I say I don't think I do. It's partly habit, partly making a living, and partly it is somewhere where I can voice my opinion every week, and that doesn't come easily, really. To have the freedom to say what you want to say every week is something that I value. I've done several caricatures myself, and I don't think that I'm nicer to myself. When you're drawing, that pen line, as it goes down, has to follow every little bit of bone and tissue and every hair, and somehow try and put behind the eyes what's going on behind the eyes and what's going on inside the head. It's all a process of exploration, just like this film is meant to be a process of exploration. It can only be like a caricature if it rings true, if it looks right, if it feels right. I mean, I'm known for exposing other people's problems, weaknesses, morals. I'm a bit like a judge myself. I'm a judge, but I'm perhaps standing in judgment of myself ultimately anyway.
Guilty.